Hello. Hey, Peter. Thank you for joining. I just want to make sure the sound is okay. Can you hear me? All right. Excellent. All right. Bad couple of days, huh? Excellent. Thanks, man. All right. Let's give it a couple of minutes. I tried to share it on the Facebook. Are you guys on the Facebook group? It's a very busy group. That's why I don't know if the posts get any visibility in there. All right, so I think we can go ahead and start. And yeah, all right, awesome. All right, so I'm going to start and talk about it, and I think this is going to be recorded anyway, so I'm going to leave it on YouTube, and people can um, hopefully watch it later on. All right, so terrible days, all right, for the whole market and for Gevo specifically, for us, of course. So here's the thing. So Gevo was on an uptrend on the daily chart, right? And I would like to just point out that if you have watched my previous videos, you know that I always use the EMAs. And we had the golden cross here, a little bit of a drop, and then that very bullish run that we had, which was fantastic, right? Now, one thing, and as I'm explaining this, I would just tell you how would you read that, right? So as you can see here, you will notice that the EMAs, when you have a bullish run, all of them are in order and they are from the smallest to the highest. So you have the 5, you have the 9, 13, 20, 50, and 200. And you will notice that as you go run, pull back a little bit, and then you will find the 5 get back a little bit, try to get closer to the 9. And then continue to run, diverge, converge, and it keeps doing this as we run. Then here at the peak, we had a run, right? And then we had another candle that is almost the same size as the previous candle. That actually is a signal that we had a very that could be that it's topping here, right? Basically. Now we didn't know until we started the next day, which was terrible, right? And it started to drop significantly. And on that day, this is the time when on Discord I actually started to warn people that it's going to drop. All right. Now the reason is for all of these runs that we had before, notice here, it never got that low to test the EMA 20. Never. Right? It always tests the 13th. And that's fine. It tests, bounce, and go up. Reject, reject, reject. All of these are rejections, right? Now that was the first day it gets as low as the 20 EMA. Now on Discord, I warn people, right? So what I did is that I said 1163 for Gevo is the 20 EMA. Below this, I will most likely close 2 of my Gevo. I said accounts, but I meant positions because I had 3 accounts and each of them had Gevo. Then I was corrected for 1166, which is actually more correct. That was more accurate. At that time, I don't know why it tried for me 1163. And then it actually bounced back up, right? At, I think here, 1162, right? So I wasn't able to create videos at this time, but I continued to give that warning here. All right, Discord, every once in a while, whenever I see something interesting, I just share it there. So that was the first actually sign that told me something is wrong, something is happening, right? Now the next day we dropped significantly, and this level which we had before, and if you also watched my previous videos, you know that any orange dashed line horizontal is basically a support or resistance that comes from structure. When I say from structure, means that if you look back to the left, you will find this was one of the significant levels. So it was support here and it became resistance here. I have line for it. Support here and then it became resistance. All right, support, resistance. So these are structural um, important levels. All right, so we held this level. We held it. Look at that. Like this one, I drew like what in November, this line, and it was holding this perfectly, which told me, okay, so it was just a bad day. We held this, we bounced back up, nice. But then the second problem that happened was the crossing of the 5 EMA. But I said, okay, you know what? When it bounces back up, that's fine. It's going to bounce again up because 5 EMA could get as low as this, right? It never crossed, but maybe that was the effect of this very bad day, which got us to the 20 EMA. So here, this is where again it started to drop, right? And since then it's downhill. So it's we are dropping since then. Now, one important thing that I would like to point out is that I actually liquidated big part of my Gevo position. Now, this is not because I don't trust the company. I love this company. Actually, I love this company to the point that my sister-in-law, which she's with us on the Discord server, she actually called my wife and she told her Jivo is my girlfriend. All right. So I love this company. But the thing is, I could see that this is dropping, right? And notice here that this is not dropping because the EMAs are crossing. The EMAs are crossing because it's dropping. So seeing the EMAs crossing in the downward this way, it actually tells you that there is enough selling momentum that actually started to take the EMA, the 5-day EMA, drop it below um, the 9 days EMA, below the 13 days EMA, the 20 days EMA. So that means that in the recent history, right, the small memory of the last week, okay, the momentum of selling is so strong that it actually took it below the previous 9 days, the previous 13 days, 20 days. All right, so you're almost getting 20 days is almost a month of trading, right? So that is not good. All right. Now it broke this level. That was another sign of a problem, right? And notice here that this level really put up a very good fight. Like here it closed above it. Here it held it. All right. It held it, and then it didn't hold. It failed. Right. So we broke that downward. All right. Now this is dropping. Now the thing is, how far, right? Now, another thing actually to add to this is that when you look at other indicators, so let's say at IC, all right, Ichimoku Cloud, couple of bad signals telling you. First of all, we broke below the conversion line, bad. We dropped, but we held the baseline. Okay, good. We go back up. Conversion line acts as resistance, bad. All right, we dropped way below it, and now the baseline is acting as resistance. Terrible. Now this one is crossing, that's even worse. All right, this is a selling signal. This is a sell signal, by the way. All right, now a sell signal, it's weak because it's above the cloud. If it was below the cloud, that would be a very strong sell signal. And actually at this point, you shouldn't be actually holding at this point. All right, but anyway, so now it's dropping and we are diving with this. Now we went to the cloud and we didn't hold neither the cloud. The cloud, I always say the cloud acts as a strong resistance or support. It didn't. All right, so we break through it and now we are way below it. All right, we actually went below it. It didn't even hold that lead 2 line. And as you can see, the cloud is closing. All right, so that's on the daily. not good. Now, if you look at other things, DMI, selling pressure, getting above the buying pressure, and that very strong momentum that we had before is dropping. All right. Um, at this point, Bollinger Band is not going to tell us. It's just diverging with it, so it's not really going to tell us much here. All right. So all of these indicators showed that it's going to drop. Now the question is, should we hold? Should we add more? Should we liquidate? And the answer is going to be completely different for everyone, right? If you are a person who has Gevo as a small part of your portfolio, you have money, right? And you have, let's say, low average, then that's a good point to add, right? Maybe average up a little bit. That's a very good stock and sale, right? Now, if you are a person like in my situation, Gevo was almost 98% of my portfolio. I had accounts that are actually 100% Gevo. So I opened an account, funded the account, bought Gevo, and forgot about this account. So that was too bad. That's 98% of my portfolio is dropping this way. So that's why I liquidated. So when I tell people that I'm liquidating, it doesn't mean that everybody goes and sell, right? It's just it works for me. It's the best thing for me at this point because otherwise I will be taking that hit of a 50% loss on my gains, which is not nice, right? So I liquidated and I tried to go to other plays. Now the whole market started to crash, which is terrible, but again, it's in different plays. All right, it's not just one basket where all my eggs are in. So that's why I'm telling you it depends really on what you want to do. All right. Um, if you want to add more, add more. If you want to liquidate a little bit, if you want, it depends. Now, the reason why I tell people about these significant lines is because not everybody has low average as many of the people who I know. All right, on the Discord and Weibo. Not everybody has. People have averages all over this range, and that's why I'm telling these are the very important lines. So if you see this heading towards your average, it may be a good strategy to liquidate at least 50%. So you have a chance that it's going to drop below your average, right? Or even put a stop loss on at your average. And then if it drops further, reposition, right? If it doesn't and bounces just right above your average, now okay, there is a very bad chance you're going to buy again, more expensive, fine, and this means you will average up. But compare this to the loss that you're going to take if it goes way below your average and you just wait there and watch, right? That's not good. So again, all of these plays are dependent on your situation. Now, how bad could it go? All right. Now, how bad could it go? It depends, and what I use here to indicate this is basically how the low EMAs act very close to the high EMAs. All right, so notice that I use 5, 9, 13, 20, and then I jump to 5200. Now 5200 are supposed to be way low there, very strong support, right? And hold. And that's exactly what happened here, and that was very deceiving. I got deceived. I thought, like, you know what, this very long wick saying that there is a very strong rejection of lower prices, and I said, okay, that's very close to the 50 EMA, it's very close to that line. That's great, we are bouncing back up. Then another green candle that made me, and it's above this level. I was like, wow, okay, we are back up, we are back in business. And then boom, all of a sudden it fell. Now I should have known that this is not going to work. You know why? Because we were unable during this day to break the 5 EMA. All right, because it couldn't break this 5 EMA. That tells me it's not strong momentum, buying momentum, that actually can take us up. All right, so that's what I missed here. Then it started to drop further. Now the drop further, I would be looking, okay, you know what, maybe this is going to hold. The 5 EMA is not going to cross. It crossed. Bad. All right, this means strong momentum taking us downward. Now what should you be looking for? Even if I don't create videos in the next couple of days, what you should be looking for on your Webull or any chart that you're following. What you should be looking for is how these EMAs are going to act around the 50 EMA. All right. If the 5 cross, I expect 9 and even 13 could possibly cross. Then I will be watching very carefully for the 20 EMA. Is it going to cross below it or not? If it holds and starts to reflect, right, or even any of these 3 EMAs, if it could be drop, 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 get to the 50, bounce back up. It's possible. So this means the only one that is 5 EMA taking a little bit dive below the 50 EMA. Now it could that the selling momentum is very strong that it will take this all the way down to meet this 200 EMA. Now at the 200 EMA, I'm hoping this is our line of support. All right. Now it could be not just the 446. It could, with the time, the next couple of trading days, this will go up a little bit. This will drop a little bit, and then they meet somewhere at 530 or something. And hopefully by then, all of these 4 crossed. Now the reason why I say that is because from observation, I just see that once this crossing starts, you have selling momentum that actually takes all of the EMAs below the 50 EMA. All right, or at least 3 of them. So for example, here I will show you something. NEO. All right, NEO was a very strong company. It was a very strong bullish run here. It was amazing, right? Like you could jump in anywhere and you will make money. Amazing. Then here, the 24th to the 25th, this is the day when there were talks about delisting Chinese companies from the New York Stock Exchange. Delisting. People could lose their money. Notice what happened after this. It dropped 5 EMA. It took the 13 EMA, or the 9 EMA, went below the 13 EMA a little bit, and then bounced back up. That's amazing, right? The fact that 50 EMA held, even though there were talks about delisting. Of course, at this time, people started to say, you know what, NEO is too big, probably is going to comply with whatever regulations they will put, and it's not going to get delisted. So you see, even with that very strong bad news, it didn't really break, right? Compare this to Gevo and many stocks on the market. Of course, with this big sell-off, it started to break the 50. All right, now here NEO again back. It's now it's there are a lot. It's not as strong as before. It's of course a strong company. I believe in it, but again, with all of the sell-off and all of these things, all of them are now below the 50 EMA, and it's very close now to the 200 EMA. All right, so that also applies to Tesla. So if you go to Tesla, you will find that, you see here, the 20 held with the 50. So that's what I'm looking for with Gevo, hopefully, right? Something like this. But it could possibly tomorrow Tesla breaks this, and then it's going to definitely go and test the 200 EMA. So that's what you're looking for, okay? That's what we are looking for. Now, people think like, okay, no, it's not, we'll never go down to that level. And this is exactly what people were saying when it was here. And they said, wow, it's below 11, below 13, below 11. We don't believe this. And of course you don't believe it because it's a very good company. All right. But the thing is, once you have this selling momentum for whatever reason there is, all right, it's not that the company is bad. It's just the whole momentum. That's the sentiment of the market, is that it's going to sell. And then people will find it, you know what, this is a very good price. I'm going to buy back in. And so many people are buying in a way that actually takes the averages up again. All right. So it's very possible it will go down to that level. So if you are between here and the 6.5, then you know what to do. Just be careful, right, with these averages. If you are way below here, that's a good opportunity to average up. If you are way above here, right, then that's a good opportunity to average down, okay? Or maybe hold because you believe in the company and it's going to go back up. All right. So when do you know it's going to break up? So here is the line that you need to be looking for, something like this, right? So that is the daily. Could be looking at something like this here. Let's make it solid. It's easy to identify. Let's actually remove the image. And then I'm seeing something very close to this here. All right, maybe. So that's approximate. Now it's very possible this would break down instead of break up. So it could bounce back up or it could break down, right? So if we add EMAs again, so that looks here like there is a lot of pressure here, pushing it down to sell, right? So it could be something way, um, something like this, all right? And that looks to me like, okay, I feel like some things are adding up because the 200 EMAs here aligning with this lower bound, which maybe or the support trend line. So maybe that's going to actually act as a very strong support, and maybe even it will be somewhere here. So it actually drops, tests this quickly, and then bounce back up and break out from here. All right, so that's what I'm hoping to see with Gevo. So I think that's just the way I'm reading it, and I hope that you got something, like learn something out of this in terms of how to use the emails. And this of course applies for all levels, right? So when I see something like this, I feel like, okay, this is actually going to bounce back up a little bit, start to cross, 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 and then maybe drop back. See, that was the whole day me watching Gevo and other stocks. So here I feel like, oh my god, it's past all of this. Nice. Now it's time to go up. And then this drop, but it didn't cross. I feel very good. Then it bounced back up a little bit, but then it drops all the way down. So you see, once it crosses, all of them are going to fall. So now I have a little bit of good expectations. People are very excited. They think like this is a good run, but watching the EMAs actually tells you what you could expect from it. All right. So I think that's it. Any questions? Any ideas? What do you think? And the other thing that I wanted to say is that if you are in any of the Wall Street Bets stocks, I will most likely make a video shortly talking about tomorrow, because tomorrow I feel it's very, very interesting. Tomorrow, technically, most likely it's the most important day since this whole thing started. So I'm going to talk about it in a separate video and probably post it. So other than that, I don't think I have anything else to talk about Gevo. So I hope that answers any of the questions that you have. Otherwise, just let me know in the chat or the comments if you have any questions, and I would be happy to answer it. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Have a good night.